How's it going, everyone? This is Griever back here, bringing you guys the latest in the behind-the-bar reviews for One Piece. One Piece, chapter 936. Let's just get right into this, guys, because this chapter had a lot of stuff going on. We jumped around quite a lot, and I think that this is going to be a thing in Wano where we have so many characters, so many different factions and groups of characters doing all these things. We're all constantly, every couple of chapters, being introduced to new characters, whether they're part of Kaido's crew, whether they're samurai, whether they're standalone. People from the prison, it doesn't matter. We're constantly seeing new people. So I know some people are complaining about this and it feels rushed, but I don't think we're going to stop this format for quite a long time. Not until, the main event, in 9 days, the Fire Festival sort of idea. At that point, I believe we probably won't jump around too much chapter to chapter, but for right now, this is going to be our format, guys. We just got there's too many cooks in this kitchen to not focus on everybody, right? So pretty much here is where we start off from the end of the last chapter. We see it's Kawamatsu or whoever, I think I'm saying that right, is the one in the prison cell, and he's talking to Raizo, and they're trying to formulate a plan. Okay, what do you need for your escape? What's going on? Show me your face. I can't. I'm chained up. I've been here for 13 years or however long he says he's been here for a long, long time, and there was a point for him being fed fish and all that stuff. Now, we still don't see him, and because he even says to Raizo, like, I can't show you my face. I'm chained up here. I need... now, a lot of people thought that potentially this character, after we learned about the whole getting in the last chapter, your arms chopped off with one offense, your legs chopped off with the second offense sort of idea, and then execution. A lot of people, myself included, said the possibility that potentially this character in the jail cell, now we know it's Kawamatsu, would actually have no legs and arms or prosthetics or something from doing this, but is stated clearly a devil fruit user. I'm gauging from the fact of the sea stone handcuffs being on him. Wouldn't affect him if he wasn't a devil fruit user. But this Kawamatsu not only is a devil fruit user, but clearly still must have his arms by the sounds of it, because he needs the key to both the cell and his sea stone handcuffs, is what he tells Raizo. So there is that. Now, while they are talking a little too long. People do notice Raizo beside the the jail cell and stuff. And they're like, the cell not to be open. Let's go. And they're like, Lady Solitaire, this is what's going on. And she's like, don't let him escape, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right. So he does his, disappearing act with his jutsu sort of idea. And he disappears. He really is a ninja. Whoa! And then he takes off. Now, he's still around. And we see that currently what they're going to do with Old Man Hyo and Luffy is Sumo Inferno. The title of the chapter, Sumo Inferno, which is pretty much, it's like this concert style thing. They're doing the merry band thing. It's kind of fun. I like Queen's character. I liked Queen's character in the last chapter, and I like it here because he's going on and he's explaining, okay, here's what we're going to do. You see these things, and Luffy likens them to the Celestial Dragon stuff. I'm very reminded by Rise of the Lycans, the third Underworld movie, where they had the collars, and with the spikes on them. So pretty much these collars, these stone collars that they put around them, they're not sea stone. They are not sea stone, but they will, if you step out of the arena, they go crush sort of idea. In the Rise of the Lycans movie, it was a similar concept. The werewolves were slaves, or the Lycans were slaves. They stayed in human form because if they were to, and they were probably made of silver or something, but if they were to transform and try to rebel or attack, of course they have these collars on, these slave collars, and the spikes would pierce their throat as they transformed and got bigger and would either choke them or kill them or whatever, right? So that was the whole idea behind those, and these remind me very much of that movie. And of course Luffy points to the Celestial Dragon thing, the slave collars. So I'm like, okay, all right. So that's the whole thing. They're going to have to fight these sumo wrestling matches over and over and over, and it's totally unfair. They're a two-man team. They don't have to fight each other, which is what I thought was going to happen. They're not fighting each other to the death or anything like that. It's going to be a constant, we can use weapons, we can step out of the arena, we can send in as many people at a time as we want. We're basically just going to keep fighting you until... Now, there is no actual win condition by the sounds of this. I reread the chapter, and Queen basically says, you will fight until you either basically die, get out of the ring, whatever, and then you're dead anyway because of the thing, or if you at any point want to say, hey, you know what, I'll join your crew after all, then they'll stop it. There is no actual win condition that I read through. Like, there's not going to be a limited amount of people, like the Crucible from Darkseid or something, like beat 100 waves of enemies or beat 1,000 guys and you're good. Nope. And I did not read a win condition in this, so clearly something's got to go down. Now, they do, however, take off Luffy's sea stone handcuffs, and I'm sitting there like I understand the sea stone handcuffs were not a waste of time, but really, clearly Queen wants some real entertainment here, knowing what the sea stone handcuffs can do. But I'm sitting there like, were they just left on for this gag because Raizo is back in the background there, looks at the key and goes, wait, well then what was the point in me going through all this hard work to steal this key and now being chased? Now they know the keys have been stolen. If that's the key right there. Now, clearly they don't believe in key duplicates. I mean, with a bunch of jailers, you'd think Queen would have a set of keys. You'd think a head jailer would have a set of keys. You'd think there's maybe a vice warden type person who would have a set of keys to multiple versions of handcuffs. Are you telling me that every single person only has one key to one set of handcuffs? That's a little... I mean, it's possible, but usually you have more than one. But Raizo looks at this key and says to himself, okay, well, if this isn't Luffy's key, then who is it? Now, it is going to be a bit of a meh if it turns out that this one key out of all the keys wasn't Luffy's, but in fact is Kawamatsu's. That's a bit of a stretch, because if we're going to take it on fact that there are no key duplicates, like Raizo is assuming here, like this key opens a lot of sea stone handcuffs, not just Luffy's or something like that, or this is just another copy. If we're going on faith that Raizo's correct with this, and that key happens to be Kawamatsu's, think of every single prisoner in the place. Now think of all the different sea stone handcuffs. Now think of all the different keys that must fit these sea stone handcuffs. You're telling me that Raizo stole the one key out of the hundreds, thousands? How many prisoners are there in the Udon prison? That opens Kawamatsu's. That would be a bit of an ass pull. I can admit that. One Piece is a great, great story, well written, but sometimes Oda pulls stuff, and I don't agree with it. And that would be one of them. That there's a potential there for, in my opinion, just a bit of like, okay, come on, really? Just like the whole hockey affecting the whole sea stone handcuff thing, I'm still not on board with that. And in this chapter, it's been shown because he gets the sea stone handcuffs taken off. And once he gets the sea stone handcuffs taken off, he's all like, woohoo, yeah, this is great. You know, you're really a good guy, Queen, and stuff. And Queen's like, we literally replaced it with something worse. Like, seriously, like, if you step out of the ring, you're going to die. Like, the sea stone handcuffs were not worse than this, you know? And he's like, oh, you're really a good guy. Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate this. Woohoo! And he's got all his energy back, of course. And Luffy has been drawn a little more muscular throughout his days in the prison. Oda's making a point to show that. Probably why he's leaving him bare-chested, so he can really accentuate, like, this is what he's going to start looking like. Luffy is bulking up a little bit. And either way, they do go through the whole sumo match thing. There's a bunch of enemies with swords and stuff, and, you know, Luffy just showing off is like, boom, I'm going to use my haki. And he just used Conqueror's haki, boom, 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 takes them all out. He goes, oh, come on, you got to give me something. You got to give me a real challenge. You literally, I was able to knock out your Smile users while wearing sea stone handcuffs. What are these fodder guys going to do to someone like me, sort of idea? And I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But really, Oda is literally like trying to showcase that, yes, Luffy knows, like, he clearly tried to use haki at some point with these on, and clearly he couldn't for some reason. Once again, I don't like this. I don't like that Sea Stone, like, is seriously, like, it's kryptonite. Like, before it was like, okay, it's sort of like a kryptonite. You just got to be careful. You know, it drains their energy and all that stuff, like similar to the sea. It's got the power of the sea in it. But this is like a double whammy. Like, there's no workaround. Haki was supposed to be a bit of a workaround, similar to how haki was invented pretty much to be a workaround against Logia users. Otherwise, Logia users would be OP in One Piece, and the power scaling and balance would be totally off. Especially with admirals having mostly, like the original 3 admirals, having all Logia users. Like, that just would have been just too OP on the Marine side of things, right? So I'm sitting there like, okay. I still don't like this, and Oda's just showcasing the Conqueror's Haki thing for the sole purpose to say, yep, once those sea stone handcuffs come off, it's like, boom, it's like he was in the sea, but now he's dried off. He's back to 100% energy. He's good to go. He can use Conqueror's Haki like it's nothing. And he apparently couldn't do that before. And I'm just sitting there like, once again, I already gave my examples in the last review, guys, so go check that out if you want my opinion on all this. About the Haki and the Sea Stone and all that stuff. But we're going to keep moving on here. Now, right before we jump away from the prison scene, we see two key things to me. One, Kawamatsu clearly was working for Hirogoro of the Flowers because he calls him Boss Hirogoro. He doesn't know him as Old Man Hyo. So clearly there was some type of connection between Kawamatsu and Hirogoro for a long time, years ago and stuff. We'll probably get a history on that because he's like, I'm counting on you, Luffy Toro. You must protect the boss and stuff. And Luffy also tells Queen, which this should be interesting because once again, bounty does not equal strength, but remember that this bounty is well deserved. This is Kaido's number 3, I guess, because number 2 is probably King, I would assume, and I'm assuming there is no ace. We already had an ace. He kind of died. So assuming that King is Kaido's literal second in command, you know, a first mate, then Queen is no pushover. Nobody assumes that. And even though Luffy's bounty at 1.5 billion is much higher than Queen's, that doesn't mean too much here because Luffy says, oh, Balloon there, calling Queen Balloon. Yeah, so if I beat you up, if I beat the crap out of you, will you let me out of here? Like, are we good? This Luffy. So, either way, key information. We'll probably see Queen take to the sumo arena himself at some point, and then we'll see how Luffy's training stacks up against Queen the Plague. Though we don't have much knowledge about Queen the Plague's abilities, nor do we know anything about overall strength while compared to other characters. So though Oda will probably use this as an opportunity to showcase how much stronger Luffy has gotten in the prison, it's going to be hard to do a comparison to exactly how strong that is without a confrontation. Similar to when they did the 2-year time skip, we know how they fared against the Pacifista originally, and then Luffy shows up and how they can handle the Pacifista after the 2-year time skip. That showcases us exactly what the battle power difference is at that point. This isn't going to really showcase it that much, but we might get another Rayleigh flashback like we did in the Katakuri fight or something like that, and then we'll know more. We jump over from there, we're back to the bathhouse where we see X-Drake and Hawkins. Alright, so they're there, they're talking, and X-Drake is standing outside the bathhouse and stuff. And once again, I did agree, like, do you think that they really should be in that bathhouse and stuff, like the mixed bath? Like, everybody's looking for, like, the renegades, the traitors. The flower capital's been thrown into chaos right now, and everyone's like looking and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, maybe it's not the best time to take a bath. I know this is Oda and stuff, and don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about Robin and Nami in a bath. I'm just saying that look at exactly what happened in the next chapter after the bath. So they are there. What a lot of people assumed is that Sanji was indeed there in his stealth black form, or Soba mask. He turned on the Germa 66 66 stealth mode, and he was in the bathhouse. Now, X-Drake is standing outside, and there are two key things to remember about X-Drake. He's either a huge fanboy of Stealth Black, or he really can't stand the sight of naked women. He kind of falls over head over heels, similar to what Sanji does. Now, which side of the fence are you on about that? Let me know in the comment section down below, because here's what basically happens. They try to hide, they fail. Hawkins basically notices, and there's another key thing. There's a bunch of key things happening here that is going very fast-paced. Like, Oda's not wasting time. He's like, boom, boom, boom. Now, once again, as I said at the beginning of the video, a lot of people are kind of upset about the jumping all over the place, about things being off-screen, like the page 1 fight and such. We just saw a few hits, and then boom, Sanji was okay. We're not seeing the runaway panels sort of idea, and this is a similar thing happening here, because basically Hawkins notices Nami and stuff behind Shinobu and says, get out here, look for people with an ankle tattoo. Now, how they know that, we don't know yet. Clearly, they're looking for people with the ankle tattoos to signify they're part of the rebellion. Where they got the information, I'm sure we'll find that out later. This is just Oda not really wasting much time on that stuff right now. And then, Nami, of course, says, oh, I'm just a poor one passing by, and the towel drops, and it's just like, whoa, Sanji finally got his wish. Like, they said that the year of Sanji has passed, but so far, this has been, with the exception of the all blue, every single one of Sanji's dreams has just come true. Like, seriously. Like, he has had such great luck in the last few chapters. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, I don't know why the year of Sanji was when he was at his lowest point, because now he's at his highest point. This is the true year of Black-Leg Sanji. Now, or Stealth Black Sanji. Now, this is all to say that pretty much Oda's pacing is running away from itself at times. We're not seeing enough of transitions, and that's what a lot of people are getting a little, I'm hearing in some of the comment sections that people are upset about. Now, I agree that we should have seen a better conclusion, or at least the quick, like page 1 looking around, where did the Soba mask go? We must find him sort of idea. Just that one panel, that one page, whatever, to get that. Similar to this one, we see that once, of course, Nami's towel drops and she's just casing herself to the world, Sanji dies and goes to heaven pretty much. And he, bashed himself, the nosebleed is crazy, he slams himself down, and we see his invisibility cloak is now turned off, I guess. And Hawkins notices this, they're like, Soba mask, Drake, get in here. Drake walks in, and he kind of goes, clunk. And that's when Hawkins says, yo, dude, if you couldn't stand, is that why you stood outside the bathhouse? You were trying to act all cool, but you actually just can't take the sight of a beautiful woman? I'm taking it that's the case. Some people are saying it's because they're both from the North Blue, which they both confirm here that Drake and Hawkins are both from the North Blue. So isn't that's Soba mask, but isn't that Germa 66 Stealth Black? And they're all like, what? And they're all like, holy crap, right? And it's like, okay, what's going to happen? Sanji gets up. It's like, what are they going to do? It's crazy. And next page, panel, whatever, we see Shinobu, Robin, Nami, and Stealth Black all flying away. So I see what some people are saying. I do see the issue with not showing just that one other panel of Sanji just going click, turn on invisibility, where did he go? And then seeing them fly away, sort of idea, right? That, while it is kind of necessary, because we're seeing him up against, we can assume from this that people like Page 1, who is part of the Flying Fighters, the 6 Flying Fighters, which are the 6 strongest headliners from what we can gather of Kaido's crew, the fact that we're not getting enough, and then the next panel, or the next battle, which is this one, which isn't even a battle, Hawkins and X-Drake staring down Sanji, and he manages to escape 2 supernovas, just like, boom, no problem. I see where people have a bit of an issue with that, and agreed, it's all to do with page amount, panels, and pacing. Oda is trying to jam-pack and follow, like, in this chapter alone, he did Sea Stone Handcuffs, Haki, Queen and Luffy, and Kawamatsu, and then he all of a sudden jumped over to the bathhouse with Nami, Robin, Sanji, Hawkins, X-Drake, boom, 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 and then he jumps over again, while spitting a bunch of dialogue that we are required, then he's jumping over to Zoro here at the end of the chapter. So, once again, it's all about page amount, though I do agree that maybe Oda does need to slow down just a little bit, give us that 1 or 2 extra small panels, even if they're small, even if it's not a whole page thing, just to showcase us, okay, he turned on invisibility and ran away. Because we can assume that that is exactly what happened. But since we don't see it, it does leave a bit of a bitter, sweet taste in the mouth, doesn't it? So, yeah, okay, alright, so Oda's making a couple of little minor errors. Once again, my big thing is the Sea Stone Handcuffs and Haki. I still don't agree with it. But this one doesn't bother me as much. Sanji basically runs away. Here's another thing. Apparently, when did Law go to prison? Like, I might sound like a total idiot for saying this as someone who reviews One Piece weekly and also, reads it weekly and all that stuff and goes back, forth. I don't remember last time we saw Law, he was talking with Sanji, Frankie, and Usopp in Ibisu Town. What the hell just happened? Like, I will admit that Oda is just bombshell dropping information that we just don't have and we're not seeing, and then it's just like, boom, okay, so Beppo and everyone's missing. Hawkins and X-Drake know to look for ankle tattoos. Apparently Law, Trophy, is now in prison somewhere, locked up, and now they were trying to like get him to break him out or something like that, but I didn't know Law was in prison in the first place. Like, so there's a lot of information dumping just going on here. So I will admit that this chapter's pacing and information dumping is just like, oh, here's the information with no build up, no nothing, no reasoning. Just, oh yeah, Beppo and his crew are missing or captured or whatever because they were trying to break out Traffy. I didn't know Traffy was lost in the first place. Whatever. So we're going to go with that. It could be a translation thing. I don't know. Maybe they meant Luffy, but why would Beppo and them go after Luffy when Rise already had a plan? So I'm going to go off on a limb here and say something happened to Frankie, Usopp, Law, and his group. I'm just going to go off on a limb here and say that. And, yeah, so after all that, we jump over to Zoro, who has finally caught up with this new character, the Sword Collector, who is clearly based on Benkai, who is a Japanese warrior from ancient times. He was the one who had the 7, and we do see here in the panel, I can't showcase panels, of course, Shueisha stuff, but he does have like the rake and the sickle and all that because he was known to carry 7 weapons, and a really big thing. He carried his Saito Benkai carried 7 weapons, all of different shapes and stuff, alongside of his sword on his back. The famous thing is him, of course, collecting 999 swords. He intended to collect 1,000 swords in duels from unworthy samurai and the like until he was eventually stopped and stuff by the very famous samurai who I cannot pronounce, Yoshitsune, whatever. I'll put it down here. And yeah, so Zoro has now facing him on a bridge. He is the giant man and stuff, and Oda has already taken inspiration from this character before. Little known fact is that he was the giant who standing tall after taking a bunch of arrows. They knew when he fought in a war up until his death, when he was fighting in his final battle, the enemies knew close combat was suicide, so they all attacked him from afar, shooting him with dozens of arrows and stuff. And they were all afraid to approach him, and because he was standing there, this giant of a man. And we see that Oda has taken that inspiration for this character. He is resembling his description. He's got the 7 weapons. He's on the bridge, sword collector. He's very giant man. But Oda took inspiration from this before because he was known as the man. When the enemy approached, they realized that he had actually died standing up. He had died there, guarding there like a formidable figure, and he was, dead man standing sort of idea. And there are tales about that. Whitebeard. This is where I believe Oda got some of his inspiration for Whitebeard. Being attacked from afar, being attacked by a multitude of enemies, no one person could bring him down. He had tons of wounds, and when he died there standing up tall, like a great statue, like a figurehead, and that's exactly how Whitebeard died. That's how Benkai died. So a lot of inspiration from this story clearly came into One Piece, and Oda clearly is a big fan of this tale and this person. So lots of references here in the last part. Now, I'm a little confused here at the end because Zoro has caught up to this person who stole, we all assumed that this would eventually happen, Ryuma's sword, Shusui. We knew that was going to be a thing. Now, we see Zoro with only his 2 swords at his belt, and we don't see the third one. And it's clear, remember that they said somebody stole Zoro's sword, and he went to get it back. And that's what he says, like, I have returned, basically. I have taken Shusui and returned it to the legendary grave of, Ryuma, all that stuff. And that's what Zoro says, yes, I know. And it's like, but I'm basically taking the sword back, sort of idea. Now, this is where I think it's a translation thing, because in the next page, in the last page, this same Benkai-inspired character says to Zoro, then if you know this, then hand it over. I'm like, no, you stole Shusui, and you put it back, and now Zoro's come to retrieve it. He doesn't have it, so why would you say, then hand it over? I'm missing something here. Is a translation thing? I don't know. Is he referring to the other two swords, like Wado Ichimonji and stuff? Like, is that what he's referring to? I don't know. Either way, Zoro's just kind of like, oh, so you're a weapons collector. Well, it just turns out, he pulls out his two swords, like, we need a bunch of weapons, sort of idea. So we're going to clash, sort of, and that's the end of the chapter. They clash. It's a big thing. How this is going to go. Finally, we're seeing some Zoro action. I'm excited to see this. Clearly, this weapons collector guy is going to be a big deal. If he is inspired and is going to be anything like the actual Benkai from history, then this dude is going to be one of the strong samurai. I don't think he's one of the three that Kanemo mentioned. However, even if he is or isn't, he will still be a very powerful ally. Maybe just like with Ryuma, Zoro will be able to talk to this guy after defeating him in a clash of swords and weapons and stuff, and they'll kind of come to an understanding. I don't know. Either way, pretty hyped chapter, especially the end part with Zoro. The Sea Stone handcuffs are off of Luffy. We're probably going to see some Queen action in the next couple of chapters. Once again, the whole... it's really the big problem has been Sanji. Sanji has been a bit of an issue with Oda right now. He has been doing a lot of just let's carpet bomb some friggin' dialogue in here, some information that we know nothing about, and the transitions to and from Sanji's scenes has been very poor. I can admit to that. But elsewise, 936 was a great chapter. What did you guys think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please like, subscribe, comment as always. So it was very much appreciated. I apologize for the kind of scatterbrained review here. I'm still on vacation with the wife and stuff, so apologies for that. But I'll be back to regular, more coherent thoughts and reviewing next week. Anyways, guys, what did you think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Like, subscribe, comment. I think I already said that. Either way, guys, drink responsibly as I currently am because it's still kind of morning here. And we'll see you back here next time for 937. No break next week. So drink responsibly. See ya.